I'm coming back here to reinforce one point. And the point is there a nefarious act to betray and derail the Indian economic development program which is currently on? That is a major point which has been running around in my mind for very many days. From the date the budget has been presented, there has been, I do not know whether it's a fictional or whether it is true or whether it is something which I'm not able to describe. The word is I'm not able to describe, is that the question of the middle class being troubled. Is the middle class, I do not know, is it being troubled, or is it that it is being an activity has been brought into as a toolkit to defame or to deny the progress which has taken place over the years in India? In my previous number of videos, I have always stated that India has come from zero to this level. I would not even say zero, it is minus to this level. How it has programmed itself over the years. You mean that taxes have never been levied, and taxes have never been paid, and taxes have never been increased? What is this hullabaloo which is being created over the period of this, especially during this budget? I suspect something. I'm not saying that my suspicion may be at fault, but my suspicion is that there has been a kind of a trend to create an atmosphere of fear, or of what you can say, a question of denial, a question of whether the government is becoming a bully, or whether the government is now not acting according to requirements of what a true government should be. There's something going very funny which is going on. Because all the people who discuss about this, my wording is nonsense of the middle class being taxed and being troubled. Nobody has defined a middle class. What do you mean? I've been asking the question again and again and again. What is the middle class? How do you define a middle class? Do you define the ratio of what the EU's middle class is? Or is it the Greece? Greece is still a part of EU, but does not have the middle class of what Germany has. Italy is in the EU, but Italy does not have the middle class which Norway has. And if you look at the US, do you challenge yourself at the middle class along with the US? It's a 330 million people, and it has got one of the largest economies, the number one economy in the world. Do you compare that with that, the middle class of the US? Or do you compare the middle class of Japan? Where has been defined that this is the Indian middle class and that is not the Indian middle class? Therefore, I feel there is something going on very funny in the meter, in the social media, in the media, in every form of media. There's something very funny which is going on, that there is a kind of a nexus between what I would say is the derailment, a group which is trying to derail the development of India. That is my suspicion. So I would suggest that we look at it from a different angle. Forget about, because let us first define the middle class, and based on that let us take a call, let us take a decision on whether the middle class being troubled or whether the middle class being taxed. Just because a tax is increased or a tax is decreased or a tax is made equalized, does it mean that it's being burdening the public? Does it mean burdening the people who earn money? No, it is not so. It is a question of the requirements of the times that a budget is being prepared. And in that budget, you are trying to define certain norms which has been existing for a whole period of time. You try to move it from one end to another and a middle, so that you will find out a middle area wherein which we will be able to be comfortable. So when we look at that, the the income tax has been the bugbear of Indian people from 1961. Otherwise, you wouldn't have so many Palkiwala's books being published. You would have treatises on income tax. You will not have businesses running, publications running only on income tax. Why is it so? It is because the income tax is that out of my earnings, why should I pay something? That's a very ugly thought process which has been imbibed or put into the minds of the Indian people. It is not a question of paying the taxes. As I said earlier, it is a question of how you put everybody, pool in all your resources, pool in all your strengths, get together the act and take your country forward. That is the reason in which taxes are being moved this way or that way to find a middle way if possible. So I would suggest that as we should mentally grow rather than being influenced by a few people who are trying to create an atmosphere of fear and an atmosphere of bullying. And I would suggest that we keep that away from our minds and look at what India can progress to. What we had, what we were in 1961 and what we are today is something we are now. And from that area, we need to project ourselves a different trajectory. You are in, suppose you are, say, in the trajectory of the moon, you are trying to move into Saturn, or you are moving into Mars, you are moving into Venus. That is what we are looking at, a different trajectory. That is what we should look at ourselves as Indians. How far you will be able to strengthen your country, make it rich, and give your children and your grandchildren something to live for, to look forward to. Americans are very proud about their country because their passport is so powerful. Their passport is so powerful because the economy is so powerful. There you don't find discussions of income tax every day and every hour, and publications always only discussing income tax in Britain or in the US or in Germany or in they are developed countries. How did they become developed? Okay, one would have been the slavery of the past. Forget about it. But today, why are they still able to retain that? It is because the Germans work together as Germans. They don't break themselves as, no, I'm not a German, I'm a middle class German, I'm a rich German, therefore the government is bullying me, I will not pay taxes. The Germans live together, they pool together their resources, their strength to make the German, country powerful. The same thing with any other country. Australia. Nobody keeps on discussing the income tax part of it. Always, day in and day out, you go through it, is income tax. It's income tax. It is GST. Why? Why are we Indians so bamboozled by this income tax and this GST? Why? Why should we keep on looking at it rather than looking at it, hey, I am willing to contribute to my country's development. Who the hell are you, ask me? I am willing to pay. I am willing to pay for the services the government is rendering me. As and when the country becomes stronger, my currency becomes stronger, my passport becomes stronger, my economy becomes stronger. I am able to challenge different countries in different ways. Today, Trump is worried. Trump is worried that, and he is saying that he'll put sanctions on countries which try to de-dollarize. That goes to show the fear of why that they don't want to lose the power of the dollar. In the same way, doesn't mean that we are going to lose the power of the dollar or we are fighting against the dollar or anything like that. I'm not asking you to fight against it. We should all work together to put the economy of India on stronger grounds so that it will be able to stand on its feet. And we should not be afraid, hey, that country is going to put sanctions on that, therefore we should play along to them. No, it is not that. And that doesn't mean, no, we should fight against them. It is not that. Again, it is how we work together. To work together means that we also take the dollar into consideration, the yuan into consideration, the ruble into consideration, any other currency into consideration, and we stand on the same footing as those countries. Rather than saying, no, we are a developing nation, therefore we should not challenge them, and fighting only about the taxes. They are putting so much of taxes on us. It is for the growth of India, the development of what you are going to leave to your children. Let us not face the difficulties our grandparents and our parents had felt. So I think that we should view it in a different platform and take it forward. I'll continue next.